So, one of the biggest news stories going around in the world of wrestling today is the signing of Stephanie Vaquer with WWE. Now, there were a lot of people interested in signing her, both the two big ones in the USA, WWE and AEW. They both wanted to sign her, but WWE won, and Stephanie Vaquer is now going to be a WWE superstar. So now the internet is going wild. I've seen a lot of mixed reactions, but I've also seen the ones that are saying, oh, she's, not right for not going with AEW. Supposedly CMLL and NJPW are mad at how she went about the signing. They're not mad that she signed with WWE. They're just mad at the way that she went about the signing, which was she had some obligations with CMLL and NJPW, and she just threw them to the back burner in favor of signing with WWE. She was supposed to drop some titles, and that's no longer going to happen because she signed with WWE. So that put CMLL and NJPW in a situation because she's not showing up to events that she was advertised for such a long time. Maybe the way she went about it is not all that great, but an opportunity presented itself with WWE. I'm sure they wanted her to play ball a specific way. I'm not sure they wanted her to go about, not dropping the belt and not fulfilling her obligations that specific way, but it is what it is. It happened, and we can all move on from that. She's a young girl, a young lady from another country, from Chile, and she's gonna be a big star now in like the biggest wrestling promotion in the United States, in America, in the world, period. Like there's no one bigger than WWE doing wrestling right now. So they're mad at a young girl from another country because she's pursuing her dreams and she's gonna go be a big star now. They should just let that go. I don't really like the way that she went about that, of course, but like it was an opportunity that presented itself. It may have never presented itself again, and so she had to go about it. So now for the other side of the conversation, where people are questioning why she chose WWE over AEW, and it's because, as I said before, WWE is the bigger company. If you saw her interview with Thunder Rosa on Thunder Rosa's podcast, Stephanie Vaquer, she went into detail about how in Chile, her family did not know anything about wrestling. They weren't wrestling fans. She just came across it one day and she fell in love with it. There is no wrestling promotions in Chile, so all she knew about was WWE. Probably AEW's reach is not as big as heading into the market in Chile. Who knows? And who knows even when Stephanie Vaquer started watching wrestling. I'm sure when she was smaller, AEW didn't exist. AEW just started 5-6 years ago. So the only option that she had was WWE. So of course she grew up idolizing these larger than life superstars on WWE TV. Who do you think she's gonna go sign with? You think she's gonna sign with AEW, that's been around for 6 years? Sure, AEW gave Stephanie Vaquer a shot, by having her featured so prominently at their recent pay-per-view against Mercedes Moné, but they also had her drop the NJPW belt to Mercedes Moné. Like, I don't even get all these like AEW partnerships that they have, because like looking back at the AEW and TNA partnership, like only AEW looked good. Like they gave the TNA title to Kenny Omega, and yes, okay, Kenny Omega made appearances on TNA programming, but like I don't know, it didn't really do anything for them. Like they were, I don't know, that partnership didn't work out for me. It only made AEW look good. Even Tony Khan made comments like in gimmick, right, talking about how TNA was not all that great on TV, and that was whack. Like, to tell you the truth, they shouldn't do that. These partnerships for AEW with other companies, they, in my mind, they just don't work. So anyway, yeah, so Stephanie Vaquer, she was featured prominently at the last AEW pay-per-view, where she crossed that forbidden door supposedly in a partnership, right? that they all talked about in advance. So the door is not forbidden at all. And yeah, she defended her NJPW title against Mercedes Moné, aka the former Sasha Banks, and she dropped the title to Mercedes Moné. Like, okay, so if they were gonna have her lose to Mercedes at the pay-per-view, did it have to be for the title? No, they could have just had her lose to Mercedes. She didn't have to drop the belt. That could have been like why Stephanie Vaquer chose WWE. That could have been why she decided, hey, I'm not going to AEW, so I can drop my belt and put over all these other people. She's not going to become a superstar in AEW the way she's going to become a superstar in WWE. It's just not going to happen. WWE makes super duper stars. AEW, they don't at the moment. They try to, but they don't know how to, in my opinion. Mercedes Moné, she's established as a superstar coming over from WWE, so that's a given. But like, if you look at the AEW roster, like the homegrown talent, there's no one there that is a super duper star. The women's roster is awesome, right? They can all go. They're all incredibly gifted, but they're not super duper stars. They don't have the aura that WWE superstars have. Look at Dr. Britt Baker, DMD Britt Baker, right? For instance, like, she's their top, to me, right? I think she's like one of their top female superstars, homegrown talent. Like, that's their top girl, the go-to girl, the it girl, right? But she's also a dentist here in Orlando, Florida, right? Like, she's accessible. WWE superstars are not accessible. Like, they have this aura and mysticism about them where, like, you can't touch them. You're not even, you can't be around them. You know, it's like hard to get to them. But Dr. Britt Baker, you can just schedule a cleaning with her here in Orlando, Florida, and you have access to her. I mean, I don't know. Sure, she wants to continue being a dentist and be a wrestler at the same time, but like, if you want to be balling, shot calling like a big boss wrestler like Mercedes Moné, then, you know, you got to present yourself a little differently. So yeah, I just don't think AEW would have made Stephanie Vaquer a superstar, a super duper star, the way WWE is going to. And you're gonna see that. So sure, she's gonna start out in NXT. That's cool, but then she's gonna work her way up to the main roster, and she's gonna be big, and she's gonna be a super duper duper star, because that's the magic and the rub that only WWE can give you. So whoever's hating on her for choosing WWE over AEW, stop it. You know, there's a lot of people who have dreams and aspirations that are bigger than whatever little bubble you create in your own little mind. Let it go. WWE and AEW, they're two options, and everyone gets to choose where they want to go. If they don't go to AEW and choose WWE better, that doesn't make them a bad person. That doesn't make them evil at all. It just means they had a preference. In this case, Stephanie Vaquer preferred WWE. And that's all good. More power to her. Good luck, Stephanie Vaquer. She's going to do good in WWE. And, you know, let's say, God forbid, one day she's not in WWE anymore. No one's going to even remember what happened this week. No one's going to remember that she rubbed them the wrong way. CMLL and NJPW, they will all be calling once Stephanie Vaquer ever does become a free agent. They're going to forget everything, all this mess ever happened, and they're going to want her once again. So will AEW. This is just something that's happening at the moment. 5-6 years from now, it will all be forgotten. If Stephanie Vaquer is no longer with WWE, they're all going to want her because they're going to want that exposure that she had in the WWE. That's just the way the business works.